GM, Daily Dosers. How is everybody doing? So good to see you. We've got a huge show today, Monday, November 7th. I cannot wait to get through all the exciting news and guests and updates and things we got going on. It's going to be bonkers, y'all, and super fun. So we're going to let the room fill and let everybody kind of roll in. And the voice of DeFi has kindly offered to play some music for us. So over to you, the voice.
Let's start off with a little bit of 8-bit songs to get us started with. We'll do that, let the room fill up, and then we'll get this party started.
All right, all right. Thank you, the voice. Appreciate that. We've got a couple more minutes to fill up the room. Just want to say hi to everybody. It's one of my favorite things, just to scroll around and see who's here. And thank you for showing up. But first of all, I want to say hello to my amazing co-host. Hello, Mac. How you doing?
I'm doing great. I realize I haven't accepted the co-host. My Twitter's acting funny today.
You're good. You are here. Clemente, nice to see you. How are you doing?
Good morning. I'm doing well. How do I sound? I just got the road set up going, so I feel like $1,000,000. I just don't know if I sound like it.
He's sounding saucy in a good way. I like it.
All right, let's go.
Mine is stuck at UPS. I don't know why.
We'll get you there. Well, UPS.
I got everything else but the board, but we'll get there.
Mech needs her fancy pants audio gear like me and Clemente, and I'm sure the voice of DeFi. So got a killer show for you all today. So many exciting things to talk about. Got a POAP to drop, got an exciting guest speaker, and just lots of fun to have. And it's Monday, and so we're going to make it a good Monday for you. So a couple quick asks. If you could please retweet the pinned tweet if you want. Zero pressure. Just get as many friends in the audience as we can. Let's let everybody know that we're in here. The team and I work really hard to try to deliver as much value as we can to you all. And so we're hoping that that value can spread to your friends as well. So feel free to retweet. If you don't, I'll still love you. So I'm going to go down and say hi to some people. I see, I'm just going to scroll. Wow, I think this is a big show today, y'all. I see Hizzy in the audience. I see DJ and Golfer. Thanks for coming out. Cake, 0.eth. Keiko James, thanks for coming out. Sato, hello. Good to see you. TJ, Biggie Poppins, as always. Hello. Killer Moonbird. So good. Schrodinger, nice to see you. Arwen, thanks for coming out. Dave Say, super cute, cool cat. Love it. Pops looks a little scary to me with that PFP, but he or she seems like a nice person, so I'm cool with that. Cody, nice to see you. I'm just going to keep scrolling. Oh my goodness, we have a huge room today. Let's say hi to Crypto Queen 1. Nice to see you. Kino, hello, how you doing? Laker, thanks for coming out. All right, we got a lot of friends in the audience. a lot of amazing speakers, and got a lot of valuable news to go over. So let's look through the show notes. Please smash that purple comment button, y'all. We already have 200 comments. Oh my goodness. Mech and Clement and I are going to try to read all of your comments, include you in the conversation. Why don't you say hi to each other in there? One of our big goals is that you all get to know each other as we do this show and help each other out. If someone has an ask and you can help, why not do that? Why not cheer somebody up? Let's build some relationships. So smash that purple comment button in the bottom right of your mobile device to get chatting. I'm going to go there now to start reading these comments. They're always fun, everyone. The Daily Dose community is a friendly community. It's an inclusive community. I absolutely love it. So, all right. Guess what, y'all? It's POAP time. So as you all know, we've been iterating constantly on our POAP drop mechanism, trying to make it fair, trying to make it fun. And we've got a slight change today. So why are we doing POAPs? What's going on here? Well, as you probably figured out, we're dropping a pretty big project in Q3 2023. And I want to reward the community. I want you all who have been here and participated and engaged and support each other to win. And we're doing that through POAPs. So you get those through my Twitter Spaces. If you're here, you get to mint those. A little bit of alpha. I dropped this yesterday, so I'm just going to share it here. The supply for the collection is going to be $999, keeping it small, keeping it intimate. The POAP holders are going to be stacked ranked, and 799 of those allow list spots are going to POAP holders, hopefully all of you. And then 121G fund, my fund is going to get 100 allow lists, and then Treasury and Advisors is getting another 100. It's a free mint plus gas on ETH. So really super pumped to start sharing a little of the details with you. All right, so here's how the POAP drop is going to work. It's new, it's different, slightly. So a lot of you said, oh, I like the clues. Like, it was fun. We had to listen. So we're bringing back some clues, making it super easy. We're going to give 2 clues today. So you got to be listening, and you got to get both correct. And then something a little different. Our friend and faithful listener, Snarls Barkley, offered to help. And this is how it works. As soon as I drop the second clue, you've got to DM Snarls with your 2 answers. So he's going to open up his DMs for about 4 minutes, and you got to DM him your answer. He's not going to help you, so don't ask for help. And if you get the clues correct, then he's going to DM you back a mint link. So it's one use only. You can't give it to your friends. And if you're not in the space, he won't DM you. So you got to be in the space. This is an experiment, y'all. It's probably not going to work exactly the way we want, but we think it's a little more fair, a little more fun. And again, triple check that you're talking to the real Snarls Barkley. There's always some evil people out there that will probably try to impersonate him. So DM him. He's never going to DM you out of the blue, right? So he's only going to reply to your DM. So if you get some weird DM from someone that looks like him, it's not him. You're only going to get a DM if you DM first. So here is the first clue. Everybody ready? Everybody paying attention? Okay, the first clue is, what was the first state in the United States? Once again, that the question is, what was the first state in the United States? So get ready, and then after the second clue drops, you can DM your 2 answers to Snarls. So, all right, hope it's fun. We're gonna adapt. We're gonna keep cranking. So it's time for the Mintify Market Daily Report, you all. Mecca's gonna pin their tweet that summarizes the news, and they're gonna crank out a quick 60-second Market Daily Report. We do this because this is information I need in my fund. I think this is information you all need daily. So why not read it out and spread the knowledge? Mintify is an awesome sponsor of the show. I love the team. I use the tool. It is effectively an NFT terminal for pro traders. I've got multi-chain aggregation, analytics, trading. It's just a powerhouse tool. So after the news, we're also going to do a little giveaway. So I'd like to pass it over to our friends at Mintify. Over to you all.
Hey there, and good morning. Thanks for having me. Let's get into the market report. So for the market volume, 5.5 mil, down a little bit. The highest sale, 135 ETH for Fidenza 100. Top 3 collections based on volume. Oh, my dog is making some noise. Let me get him out of here.
Dogs are great.
I love him, but he's making a little bit of noise. All right, let me continue. I'm so sorry
we support
about
the four-legged friends, so it's okay.
Thank you. Top collections based on volume for the past 24 hours. KPR verse still going a little bit crazy. 550 ETH traded, 0.884 ETH floor price. Other side, 386 ETH traded, floor price of 1.296. Renga, 368 ETH traded at a floor price of 1.28 ETH. Top gainers, we got GE Explorers, G Explorers, 800% up, and Mind the Gap by Mount Vitruvius and GM DAO Studio. That's a big one, 168% up. Top losers, Digits Agents losing 17.6%, and Zen Academy coming down a little bit after maybe some news from their PFP mint. I'm not sure, 2.9% down. Some noteworthy updates. I'm sure we're going to be talking about this. Opensea is announcing the optional royalties and the code for creators to enforce on-chain royalties. And Kraken is launching a gasless NFT marketplace now open for waitlist submitters. And that is with ETH coming down a little bit. Right now around 1580, down just about 2.75%. Thank you very much.
Boom. Thanks. Appreciate you all dropping the news, keeping us all informed. We're going to do a giveaway, y'all. Mintify kindly is giving away 2 allow list spots to their PFP drop in December. It's a free mint. So all you got to do is retweet the pin tweet of their market summary and retweet the pin tweet of their PFP, which is pinned up there. And we're going to pick some winners at the end and then bring you up on stage to cheer and have some fun. All right. Now it is time for the Daily Dose news. Again, keep smashing that purple comment button. Oh my God, there's 438 comments already. I got to get reading. Appreciate you all. I'd like to welcome up Lucky Trader. We are calling the official news app of Daily Dose. And here's why. I love the Lucky Trader app. It's literally the only app on my phone I have notifications on for. It's great news. It's timely news. I'm a big fan of the team. And so they are an official sponsor of the show now. So I'd like to hand it over to Lucky Trader to read the news.
Ryan, thank you. And welcome to today's NFT Morning Minute. The top news story today, Opensea is rolling out a new royalty enforcement tool starting tomorrow, requiring new collections to effectively blacklist other zero royalty marketplaces or lose royalty enforcement on Opensea. Google Cloud announcing plans for a blockchain node engine, a fully managed node hosting service for the Solana blockchain. In other Solana news, Steppen, the notable move to earn app, is partnering with ASICS and Solana on new sneakers and NFTs. Kevin Rose and the Proof team announcing the Proof of Conference for May 2023. And last up, more projects are announcing Art Basel plans, with Pudgy Penguins the latest addition to the schedule. Ryan, back to you.
Thanks, Lucky Trader. Appreciate it. So much interesting news to talk about. We're going to get into a lot of these items as we go. I'm especially excited to see Google Cloud, really digging into Solana and starting to see this multi-chain world get realized. I'm excited about the Proof conference. I'm a big fan of Proof and Moonbird, so I'm absolutely going to be there. It's going to be a lot of fun. But I would like to actually get rocking with our special guest today. So as you all know, Opensea announced something really interesting, exciting, controversial yesterday. And I wrote a thread on it, reached out to the Opensea team and said, hey, thought you might find this interesting. Feel free to hop on the show. And they said, Devin wants to come on the show. Devin is the CEO and co-founder of Opensea. And I'd like to welcome you to the show, Devin. Thanks for coming by.
Thanks so much for having me, Ryan.
Yeah, appreciate it. Cute, cool cat, by the way.
Thank you.
I've always been a fan of the cats, but I need to get in there. But thanks for coming by. So, wanted to give you, 60 seconds to kind of set the table here, explain to folks what you're trying to do here, and where you're going. Then I've got a couple questions for you. And everybody listening, we're going to keep this about 5 minutes because we've got a lot to discuss. So, Devin, over to you.
Yeah, sure. Thanks so much. So I think the biggest thing for us was we felt that, creator fees are a really important innovation in the NFT space, as I think a lot of people here feel. And so when we started thinking about, how we were handling this, ecosystem challenge of generally kind of creator fees being subverted by a lot of marketplaces in the space, we really wanted to kind of lead with a solution, and give the community and creators something that they could use to enforce creator fees in a stronger way. So yeah, the announcement that we made was that we're announcing sort of our first set of creator tools that give them greater ability to enforce creator fees at a smart contract level. This initial tool is really a simple code snippet that creators can add to their smart contracts, or even upgrade existing smart contracts if smart contracts are upgradable. And this is the way that this works. Basically, is it restricts sales to marketplaces that do support creator fees, and as part of that, we'll be detecting those new collections automatically on chain, and sort of ensuring that they're including that check. So that's sort of our announcement.
Got it. Thanks for summarizing that.
Sure.
Yeah, I would have loved to have been a fly on the wall as you all, figured this out, because I can't imagine the various, ideas and solutions and hurdles you got to navigate here. So I have a couple questions for you. So, and I've stated this very, very clearly to my audience that I support this. And so I don't want the listeners to accuse me of giving you any softballs here. I think this is important, but overall, like, I absolutely support creator fees, royalties. I think it's one of the foundational aspects of Web3. So, but given that, there's a couple of hard questions, right, that we've got to answer. And they're good questions, and I know you're not dodging them. The first really has to do with pushback I'm hearing, which is, quote, "This is a centralized platform grabbing for more power." Essentially, just this is kind of this, mafia move to push out your competitors. What would you say to that?
Yeah, it's a good question. I think, we think that generally creator fees are really important innovation in the space, and our solution is really philosophically, we want to empower creators with kind of choice and control over their business models. And so our approach is we allow for buying and selling of NFTs. This tool allows them to be sold on any marketplaces that enforce fees, not just Opensea. I want to be really clear about that. And you don't even really have to use this specific snippet of code, right? As long as your contract is enforcing that it's only buyable and sellable on NFT marketplaces that support creator fees, then we'll honor that. And so this is really in hopes that more marketplaces decide to honor creator fees for these contracts, as opposed to just Opensea.
Got it. And from what I understand, when I read through the code, it looks like you can curate your own list here, right? So you don't have to use Opensea's curated list of contracts, that you can pick your own.
That's right. Yeah.
Yep. Okay. Mech, I'll go to you in 1 second. I just want to ask one more question to make sure we get through it. So the second big thing is everyone's wondering, well, what's going to happen to non-upgradable contracts December 8th? Everyone's kind of afraid. Like, what about Deadfellas? What about Moonbirds? What about all the, one-person shops out there that have these collections? Are royalties going to zero for them? Like, help us understand what's going to happen here on December 8th.
Yeah, totally. So we don't know at this time, and really there's a lot of different solutions. And I think the biggest thing was, when we made this change, we really wanted to lead with a solution for on-chain enforcement and then get feedback from the community. We're constantly hearing that the community wants input on our decisions when we're making these critical decisions, and that's honestly what we're trying to create space for. We also recognize that creators and communities aren't created equal, right? And we want to hear from a diverse set of perspectives before making decisions. And we felt that we couldn't just have these conversations in private. We really wanted to have them out in the open. And I wanted to be clear. Our default, I think there's a sentiment out there that our default is going to 0% fees for all existing collections. That's certainly not our default. And I think this is sort of a challenge that requires nuanced solutions and working with the community to figure out what's best.
Great. Thank you. Thanks for being direct.
Sure.
I imagine like you're getting a million DMs and the team is just getting flooded with requests to, okay, I want to have that conversation. Then if I have a collection, how do I have a voice in what you choose? Is there a method or a counsel or what should people do?
Yeah, I think reaching out to Anne, who oversees sort of our uh, customer support and part of our operations team is a good method. We're always happy to chat on our Discord. Stevie, I think, is in this chat, who runs community. So I think all of us are really open to chatting. I'm certainly open to chatting in DMs as well.
Appreciate it. Yeah, I want to give your team credit where credit's due. Anne and I have chatted a lot, and she's extremely accessible and helpful and pro-creator. And so I just want to say that I think you've gotten some unnecessary flack about kind of being behind closed doors. So we do have a couple questions coming from the speakers. Devin, feel free to stick around if you can. It'd be fun to have you. I'm gonna go to Mech first.
Yeah, I just wanted to have a little bit of clarity around the language because you mentioned the new contracts will be applied to the marketplaces that honor royalties. And I just want to understand what that means because it feels like most of the new marketplaces are quote unquote honoring it in that it's optional, right? So can you just clarify what that means, right?
Yeah, so it does mean that the marketplace has to honor it fully, not just in an optional way. What we've seen with marketplaces with optional royalties is that it quickly turns into essentially 0% royalties. So this is really
zero.
a way for creators to ensure that marketplaces are fully honoring those royalties.
Cool.
Awesome.
Thanks, Devin. Just a quick update on the poll, and then I'll go to Gene. I create a poll for you all, and if Clemente could pin it, please. The question was, will the majority of new projects use Opensea's new operator filter registry code, which is the code snippet Devin referred to? I got 129 votes in already. 73% say yes. 25% say no. So already getting some strong sentiment. I mean, we saw, Ray from 9gag and MemeLand very clearly say, hey, we're going to be on the new, we're going to be shipping with this code snippet. We support it. So that's kind of an FYI. Gene, I see your hand. Go for it. Gene, buddy, are you there? Oh, man. Gene's always around, and now he's missing the mute. Okay, we'll keep moving. Clemente, over to you.
Hey, Devin, thanks for coming. One of the things I'm curious about is for some of these suspicious assets, right, that go on the new contract that from there can't be traded on OpenSea, but are then blocked from being traded on other platforms. Have you thought of solutions on how those can then be transferred from one person to another in an effective way?
Yeah, we're thinking through that. So we're looking into kind of whether there are technical solutions that we can use to better handle that type of scenario. So we'll keep you updated on that.
Cool. Thanks, Clemente. Thanks, Devin. So Devin, do you want to stick around longer? Do you have time, or do you need to bounce?
I can stick around in the audience if that's cool.
Yeah, perfect. Of course.
Awesome.
Thanks so much for coming by. I really appreciate what you all are doing. I feel like you're trying to lead from the front. I think you're taking some, some covering fire on that, and I appreciate you doing that.
Thanks so much for having me, Ren.
Yep. All right. We'll talk soon. Take care. So let's get this conversation going on all the various news items we have. Of course, we can discuss royalties, the operator filter registry code on OpenSea. We can discuss other news items. For instance, I think it's pretty fascinating that we see Google Cloud really betting on Solana. I think it's interesting that we're seeing more conferences pop up like Proof of Conference, and then Art Basel is clearly going to be, a mega conference in the space. I feel like, everyone who's going to conferences going to Art Basel. I'm going to be there as well. So let's dig in. I'm happy to do kind of a round robin discussion here. John, I see your hand.
Yeah. Thanks, Devin, for coming up. I'm just curious, if this doesn't end up sticking, is there some sort of a migration plan for contracts which have adopted, this whitelist methodology, I guess?
Oh, that was sort of a question for me.
I hope so. I mean, yeah.
Yeah. So, I mean, you can always make your contract upgradable, right? So if you don't, if you implement the whitelist, and for whatever reason you want to enable the buying and selling on non-enforcing marketplaces, you can always upgrade it again.
And then one more question for the list that's being curated. Is there going to be some sort of a change log with, I guess, like reasoning as to why that was added, or transparency as to like why those addresses have been blocked, I guess?
Yeah, so I believe the current GitHub includes a change log, and I'll be sure that I can talk with our team about including very specific comments on like how we investigated this particular contract, those sorts of things.
Thanks,
Deb. Appreciate it. A quick update on the poll. It's cranking. We've got over 400 votes now, and still very strongly in favor of yes. 73% said yes to the question: will the majority of new projects use Opensea's new operator filter registry code? I'm surprised. I'm excited by that result, but surprised. And the only reason I say surprised is because right now, and Devin, you can correct me if I'm wrong on this, it really feels like OpenSea is the only platform that's going to protect creator fees. So it feels like folks who are voting yes are saying, hey, I'm gonna effectively limit the trading of my NFT to OpenSea, which is fine. But I feel like that's a choice that's being made there. Devin, are there any other platforms that do actively enforce creator fees?
I believe there are a couple other marketplaces. I don't want to speak out of
Okay, I don't want to put you on the spot, but
I want to fact check before I respond to that. But
no problem.
I believe there. Foundation, for example, I think is one.
Fair. Kind of smaller art-based marketplaces is actually a good point. There's quite a few, and I was actually talking to Gossamer about this yesterday. That this might see the blooming of many artist-led collectible marketplaces, which would be great, right? Everybody would love that, who fully support creator fees. So let's go to the voice of DeFi.
So, Ryan, you said earlier you wished you were a fly on the wall when this decision was made. So I wanted to ask Devin kind of to pull back the curtain a little bit for us and talk about the discussion. Was there dissenting opinions? Because this is a bold move. I'm sure that, by you putting this out there, you were going to get some hate for it through Twitter. You were also going to get a lot of love for it. So there must have been some people that fell on one side of the issue than the other. And I'd just be interested to know, was everybody in lockstep, in unison? Was there laptops thrown? What was the what was the scene like as you guys were deciding this?
No laptop thrown to my knowledge. But I mean, every decision that we make at OpenSea that's critical for our company and critical for our community is there's always a spirited internal debate, and we as a company, we always try to sort of have the best idea wins type of culture. We always encourage people to express their strong opinions weakly held. So certainly for this, it was no different. And I think our default path in many ways was we have been a marketplace that honors creator fees at the marketplace OpenSea level, and it was an interesting time because really we had done that since 2018, but the ecosystem around us was evolving, right? And so we had to take a step back and say, how can we, with our leadership position, take a strong stance for what we believe in for this ecosystem going forward. So I think, lots of debate, lots of discussion internally, and then now I think it's been really valuable to have spirited discussions out in the open with the community about this as well.
Thanks, Devin. Thanks, Voice DeFi. Good question. Devin, I guess this is the way it's going to roll. If you stick around stage, you're going to get a lot of questions. I love having you here. Stay as long as you want. I promise the Daily Dosers will be friendly. Let's go to Aiken.
Hey, yeah. So I wanted to maybe pivot a little bit and talk again about the Google Cloud announcement, partnering with Solana and being a validator, right? I think this comes after the news that Google Cloud had partnered with Coinbase to also access their node infrastructure, which gives them access to 25 supported protocols, right? And so I think this is just an additional data point that shows that Google is going full speed into integrating decentralized protocols, right, into its cloud services. And I think this is really important to note that, Google is not just a consumer company, it's actually an enterprise company as well. And if you think about the slate of clients and customers and the reach of Google and their cloud services, right? This is, I think, really, really big news that I think has been not being talked about enough,
Amen.
because this
agree.
creates a platform for enterprises to actually build much easier, right, and get access to a multi-chain infrastructure.
Amen.
Right? And so, as you can imagine, right, for Google to make these types of investments and announcements and partnerships, like they have to have some visibility into the demand and what this means for revenue. And so I think this is really, really bullish information. And we need to keep an eye on this and see what comes next, because if you are a chain of note and you're not part of this club, then you're sort of being left behind.
Yep.
Right. And so I'd like to see what this means for, right, the other Ethereum killers that have yet to sort of integrate with Coinbase or directly with Google, and see what comes after this.
I agree. And we've said this on the show many times, y'all. Enterprise adoption is a key, right? As much as you may hate Web 2 and you really want to see things move away from centralized platforms, we need to see this enterprise B2B adoption. It will lift all boats. So I'm generally bullish on that. Let's go to Clemente next.
Yeah, real quick. And Ryan, I think it kind of goes hand in hand as far as that Web 2.5 that you keep talking about, right? And I think part of that is Opensea's move potentially as well, in terms of finding this difference between centralized and decentralized and differences that come in between. But part of that also goes back to that discussion we were having last week about marketplaces finding their niche, finding their target audience. Not every single marketplace, at least I believe, not every single marketplace is going to cater to everyone. And that goes from both a consumer point of view or a collector point of view, and also a project and a team point of view, right? And by giving artists and projects the option to say, hey, okay, we want to enforce royalties at a contract level or not, it allows them to decide, hey, who's my target audience? Who am I really trying to target? Is it more traders? Is it more speculators? And I want to help them, incentivize them to do that by lowering my royalties or by not making them enforceable. Or do I want to be more collector and investor based and allow them to kind of pay that premium?
Got it. Yeah. Good comment. Appreciate that. Just so no one feels bad if we move you off stage, the reason why is we're just trying to rotate speakers. Got a lot of great folks requesting. If you do come up on stage, pop that hand up so we know you've got something to say. Otherwise, you might get rotated off. So thanks, Mac, for reminding me of that. Guess what? It's time to pause for clue number 2 in the POAP game, y'all. All right. So get ready. Hopefully you got the first clue. I'm not going to repeat. The second clue, friends, is what's the largest ocean on Earth? So once again, what's the largest ocean on Earth? Y'all, these are not going to be tough clues, just to be clear. So good luck. You can begin DMing Snarls Barkley. He is on stage. Make sure to DM the right person. He's right up on stage. DM him both answers. If you're correct, and if you were in the space, you'll get a mint link back. Snarls Barkley, good luck. This is gonna be a lot of work. All right, so those are our 2 clues for the POAP. Woo! Okay, for the POAP, y'all. Thanks for playing. Hopefully, a lot of you will get those. All right, so let's keep cranking on this discussion. Got a lot of good thoughts, Devin. Again, thanks for hopping on the stage and participating in the discussion. Appreciate it. I'm excited to see how this shakes out on November 8th. So we'll see how it goes. Let's go to Drew Barr, my good friend. Welcome.
Good morning, Ryan. I have a very specific question. Selfishly want to ask. Well, it's so I've got the Rick House Dow, right? And this is not a shill. This is a serious question about what's going on. Do I have to do anything? In other words, my contract's written. All that stuff's done. Do I have to do anything to stay on Opensea, or is this just for new projects? What do I need to do?
Yeah. So here's the deal. So new contracts as of November 8th need to have this code or code like this in order that protects creator fees. So you obviously have a contract that's already deployed. If your contract is upgradable, then absolutely you should add the code, which will then allow you to protect your creator fees. If your code is not upgradable, then really the jury's out about what's going to happen. And December 8th, OpenSea said they'll let us know. So that's the answer. If your contract's not upgradable, you don't do anything. If it is, and you want to stay trading on OpenSea, then you need to add the new code snippet. And it'll be interesting to see how it plays out. But good question.
Thank you. I'll check on that, and I'll jump off stage so you can bring other folks up.
Thanks, brother. Appreciate it. Let's go to final Ryan.
GM Daily Dosers. Just kind of wanted to pivot a little bit, Ryan. You did mention earlier that a lot of these NFT conferences are kind of popping up, and there was kind of a meme going around last week regarding what was going on with NFT London and just basically how sad it was, and I've been thinking about this and just kind of wanted to get your thoughts. The way I see kind of this playing out is we're going to see more of these conferences become more like hyper specific. Metaverse Miami and Art Basel are coming up in the next couple of weeks. And, Art Basel obviously is going to be focusing on the art. And if anyone remembers or followed streetwear before, there were like trade shows like Magic and Agenda that were very specific to that. And I kind of see that where it's going, like other than like something huge like say VCon, which would attract like a large chunk of the quote unquote NFT audience.
Yeah, I have a lot of thoughts on this. Do you mind if I share?
So I just kind of think like, as the space evolves, we're going to see like more events, but smaller events, and just kind of wanted to chime in on that.
Yeah, I think that's a good comment, and I think that's probably true. So one of the companies I launched was an education company, and part of that was in-person conferences. That's how I met Kevin, and we became good friends. And I learned a lot about conferences, and I think where we're going to go, at least the conferences I'm going to go to, are going to be ones with ideally a single stage. I'm not interested in 100 stages at all because it fractures the attendees, and it's hard to meet anybody. It also means the conversation isn't very curated. And then secondly, if there is a big conference, like an NFT NYC, I don't even buy a ticket. I just go to all the satellite events because that's actually where you can, meet people and get things done and make new friends. So that's what I'm excited about. Proof of conference. Like obviously that's what it's going to be. I mean, Kevin and Justin and I talked a lot about that before I stepped down from the team, and I think that's going to be a good one. Going to conferences is scary and it's lonely and it's intimidating. Like unless you're a big shot, it's scary, right? Because you walk into a room, and you're like, is anyone going to talk to me? Or what if I walk up to someone and they don't want to talk to me? And that's just not nice. So looking forward to conferences that make those little meet cutes a lot easier. So good question, final Ryan. Let's go over to Lucky Trader. Hello.
Hi, Ryan. The question we had was actually for Devin. It looks like we may have.
We can ask him and push it out into the ether if you want.
Sure. I think just in general, how does OpenSea continue to differentiate as more players enter the market, and how do they stay number one as more competitors pop up?
Yeah, that is the question. I think this move is a smart one that doesn't come from that place, but I think it will end up probably reestablishing them as the leader. In fact, today, 24-hour volume, OpenSea now is again on top. I actually sent a DM out to Pac-Man, founder of Blur, and invited him on the show in the future to give their point of view on this. But I do think standing up for creators and one of the foundations of the space, which is in perpetuity royalties to creators, I think it's gonna be a good long-term strategy that will separate them out. So we'll see. I think Gene Parmesan has said several times in the show, it feels very much that the marketplaces are fungible at the moment. And this is the first marketplace now to make a move, which makes it non-fungible. It's really the only big one supporting creator fees. So let's see how it shakes out. Let's go to Alien Friends.
Hey, what's up? Thanks, Ryan. It's Sean.
Yeah, welcome. Hey, Sean.
Yeah, mine was for Devin as well, but I'll just speak it into existence. My hope is that they are actually open-minded to hearing out and taking into consideration a lot of the legacy creators and artists that help like build the platform day by day since it started. The Dead
I
Fellows.
can't imagine. I mean, I can't imagine they wouldn't be, right? Like that would be bonkers, right? To alienate your core audience. So I can't imagine that would happen, but we'll see.
I agree, and and I'm hopeful in that. I just felt very PR. Here's where we're going, and we're going to listen to you guys for a month. But if anybody remembers, I mean, in the early 5 months, it took us a while to get a hold of them. They're a lot better now, and they're reactive and responsive to us. But we have an unverified trait in our collection just because of how bad it was with the attacks and hackers. So I'm hopeful and I'm excited. I'm pumped they showed up today to talk to you. But the main goal is just that they prioritize the creators, the artists, and the collectors over just the daily degen traders. And we're daily degen traders ourselves, right? We love it. But ultimately, the blockchain's forever. They have enough capital to fight for what's right long term versus just focusing on daily metrics. I think brand is who wins this game because the world's top creators still aren't here yet. And they're going to ask us where they should launch their collections, and we're going to tell them.
Yeah, no, I hear you. I mean, and again, I don't want to see like I'm giving Devin and the team softballs here to knock out of the park, but I will say, as a founder CEO who's started multiple companies, it's really hard to scale things early. And if you happen to be on a rocket ship, actually responding to customers fast enough and scaling and not having the platform go down is very hard. And OpenSea started small and turned into a rocket ship. And I think now we're starting to see that they've hired up and scaled, and we're starting to get the support that everybody wanted. But we'll again, let's see how it shakes out.
We wouldn't be here without them. So I give them all the credit for what they were able to build and allowed us to build what we're building. So love what they've done. I just hope that they really take time on this decision.
Yep, I hear you loud and clear. Matt, go ahead.
Yeah, I think it's important to add some context here because this is a really interesting point in the space. Like, I remember earlier in the year, sometime around January, I had an 18-hour space about the death of OpenSea. I was like very opposed to this idea of like.
Did you say 18 hours?
I swear to God. Yep.
Holy shit.
Yeah, and it wasn't because
That's amazing.
30,000 people came in and out of that space, and everybody had a lot to say. And it was this idea of like a centralized marketplace that, at the time we had all of this stuff with Nate had happened. They were talking about going IPO. And I just remember OpenSea being down for 25 minutes. And I was trying to check the floor for something. And I was like, how did we become so dependent on a marketplace that isn't really doing much for the community, right? And it's so interesting to me to see this complete 360 in the way that they now have stepped up to become the bastion of support for creators, because every other marketplace has tried to beat them to zero, right? And so I don't know how to feel about it. Like, I'm very, kind of like, let's just wait and see, because I know there's a lot of lip service that happens in this space around like what people are going to do or what they think is going to happen. And the reality of it is there's no, goodwill, in my opinion. Like, goodwill doesn't win in this space. If left to, people's own devices, they choose to not pay a royalty. They choose to not support the creators, and not necessarily all of them are traders. I understand why a trader would want to take a fee out, but you have to think about, like, when I saw the Blur interface, I thought, oh, it was already very clear to me that people were going to go to zero. It was too easy to do. It was right, at the checkout, like, what do you want to pay? You want to pay the 10%? And
zero.
I was like, this is not, and then I heard the incentivization, and I was like, okay, that might be something. But I also think it wasn't clear what the incentivization was going to be valued at. So people are just making the assumption that I'm going to take what I know to be a win right now for
the unknown.
The unknown win that I may have if I pay and get these tokens that might not be worth anything because the ecosystem moves so fast. So I think it's just super interesting to think about, like, where I sat very, very opposed to what OpenSea was doing in the space and how it wasn't supporting creators, to seeing like Devin hop in the space and be like, listen, we're going to try to make sure you get your royalties. And I'm like, what's happening here? So
I know.
I
It's
love that.
tumultuous right now.
Yeah, I love that we're able to have open minds about it and kind of like let it play out. We've probably got another 20 years to go before Web 4 for real, right? So I think it's just great that people are stepping up and listening and whether or not they move on it. I do think that we have enough smart minds in the space to build a solution that does work. So
yeah. No, I appreciate it, Mac. Thank you. Gonna read out some comments, y'all. I appreciate it. There is a ton of comments coming in. Greek the 39 Moody's in one says, "Hey Ryan, I'd like to ask if creator fees are so integral to NFTs. Why hasn't OpenSea supported EIP 2981 before now?" Which is a fair question. So EIP stands for Ethereum Improvement Proposal, and 2981 was and it was royalties enforced on chain, and that was proposed in 2020, and there's been no marketplace support across the board for it. It's just it hasn't gone over the line, which I think is the problem, right? We can't get all the marketplaces to agree on this standard, and so OpenSea is just taking a stand and saying, fine, here's what we're going to do, and let's see how it goes. It's really hard to get consensus, y'all, when you have for-profit companies competing on this. So in an ideal world, yes, we would agree on EIP 2981, but I think in the real world, we're not. So here we are. So let's keep going around the horn. Actually, before I do that, there's just tons of people being kind and saying GM. Kosa says GM. That's 0x Kosa. We've got Hilberto saying they DM Snarls Barkley. Lauren saying, Snarls, you're a brave soul. We appreciate you. Hope the thousands of DMs are going well. Let's see how it goes. So let's go to Zeit next.
Hey, Ryan. How's it going?
Hello. Welcome.
Thanks for having me. So unfortunately, Devin stepped down, so he can't speak on his side of things. But I'd like to bring up a point that people are really overlooking, and how this choice by OpenSea kind of defranchises or like alienates the majority of the space and creators and artists who are basically lower resource small artists who might not be able to hire a developer that can add this function to their launch. Memeland, yeah, they may be able to do so. Some other projects
so
may be able to
how do
so.
artists do this, right?
Yeah, that's
the question.
It's just a big question. So he's not here to speak on that. Yeah. So
yeah, well, let's
follow-up question would be, go ahead.
I appreciate you bringing it up. And actually, another listener, I'm trying to scroll to find their name, asked the same thing, saying, "Hey, so wait, do artists need to code now? What happens?" And I'd be shocked if OpenSea didn't release a UI for folks to mint these new contracts. I keep saying this over and over again. I'm pretty sure their business model is going to be B2B enterprise services and products. I assume we're all going to be minting on OpenSea at some point and using all their tooling, which is fine with me. And so I assume that contract deployment is going to be done through tools like that. Or we have, things like Manifold. And Manifold, you absolutely don't need to code. And it'd be actually great to get Richard up here and hear his take on what Manifold thinks about all this. So if anyone's listening from Manifold or Richard, if you're out there, let us know. But it's like, good question. I think the jury's out. But I'd be shocked if they didn't support it with a no-code interface.
Yeah, you're absolutely right. That would be the answer. No-code tool for creators. Yep. But we would want to hear that from them, not just kind of guess.
You bet. I think Devin's still in the audience, so if you or the team could let us know at some point, we'll relay the answer. Thanks, Zeit. We've only got about 10 minutes left before we got to do the giveaway. So let's go to Glass Hamlet. How's it going?
Hey, Ryan. Thanks for having me up.
Welcome.
Obviously, this is what everybody has been talking about for since the announcement came out. But I feel like there's so much strategy behind OpenSea's approach to this. Like, somebody in the higher ups has read Sun Tzu's The Art of War. I understand that a lot of creators, smaller creators, are wondering when will they be able to finally claim their royalty fees. And with the larger market being at a 0% royalty option, that's just not possible. So OpenSea is basically saying, hey, we're going to roll this out right now, and then hopefully the market will decide to basically sell on a platform that will honor their fees. The all of that capital will flow back into OpenSea, and then they can make a larger decision to moving forward say, okay, yes, now we're not going to give that option of like paying however, whatever, like leave that tip at the door type policy. And it will go to a greater, I guess, basically they'll just accept the royalty fees as is. And I think that's the general approach that they're taking. But one other thing that I also wanted to mention was, a lot of people are upset that they no longer, or perhaps in the future, they won't be able to choose to pay zero royalties. And, that I think comes from a lack of visibility with how royalties are used. A lot of projects just tack on this 5 to 10% fee, and it's just an additional payday for them. Whereas either artists or smaller creators, or you name it, that's their main source of income for the foreseeable future. But also, there haven't been that many projects that specifically utilize royalties in a way that is clear and visible, that funding goes right back into the company. And I think, this will lead to a lot more projects building in public and at least being a little bit more open about that. So if they do charge, 6% or 7%, that, this will eventually come back to the product and ergo to me as a consumer.
Yeah.
So,
I agree. Like yesterday I was in a Twitter space and I had to clarify, which like boggled my mind, that Justin and Kevin and I received $0 from the mint of Moonbirds personally, 0. And I was like, I can't believe anybody would assume otherwise. Like that blows my mind. But you're right. I think clarifying, where is this royalty going? What is it being paid into? Is there any, guardrails around that? Right. Or is this literally just a wallet that, the founders can drain? So I agree. We do need, probably more transparency on that. But I'll tell you all, oh my goodness, if you're looking at projects and thinking about projects and you haven't seen the founder, pop onto spaces or do video interviews and talk about the future of the company and their plans and what they're going to do with the treasury, then watch out. Like, there's absolutely the possibility that folks are just going to take that wallet and run. And we need to be more diligent with that. Now, that's the minority. Most projects that I know and trust, amazing teams, trustworthy, have integrity, would never, ever, ever dream of doing that. So I just wanted to say that. I'm going to quickly do a right turn here, and we're going to hit our pop-in project. So Voice of DeFi, hit me up. Oh, no, he's not on stage.
Oh, I moved him down. My bad. We'll just do a pop-in project. Boop, 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 boop.
That was amazing.
It's the pop-in project, the pop-in project of today.
I love it. Dennis, I haven't heard you sing for a while. That was great. Thank you.
And I did it with oatmeal in my mouth.
So the Voice of DeFi, thanks for trying. Apologies for moving off, but thanks everyone for chipping and singing. Okay, so the pop-in project. This is a project that I'm thinking about right now. Y'all probably know I'm an NFT venture capitalist. I'm always evaluating projects, and I think it's helpful to share some things I'm thinking about. I'm doing this usually when I'm thinking about deploying capital, and I would like to talk about pudgy penguins. So actually got kind of a tap on the shoulder about pudgy penguins from a friend of mine, saying you should probably pay attention. And honestly, I was like, I heard all this FUD, and it seemed like the founder rugged it, and and I kind of wasn't paying attention. He said, something's different now. So I got on the phone with the founder, and we had a long call, and I was just blown away. I think the fascinating thing about projects, and I'm trying to find their Twitter handle. It's Luca. So Luca Nets is the new owner of Pudgy Penguins, and Luca is just an unbelievable entrepreneur. So I don't know how much of his story he shared publicly, so I don't want to say things I shouldn't. But the kind of hurdles he came over and conquered and got through, and then launched extremely valuable companies, blew me away. And I was like, hey, this is a person I want to bet on. And immediately after I had that call, we went out and swept Pudgy. And I've got more budget to do that. So I just think this is a good example of digging into a project, talking to the founder, listening to their experience, and saying, "Wow, I mean, if I'm going to bet on stuff, why wouldn't I bet on this person?" And so we've got more budget in 121G to do another sweep at a certain point. And I'm just a big believer in them. So again, not financial advice. I'm not saying go out and buy a pudgy penguin, but it's a project that I've definitely deemed has passed my quality bar. So wanted to do a little poppin' project segment, nice and quick. So let's in about 4 minutes, we're going to announce the winners of the Mintify PFP allow list spots. So get ready for that. Meanwhile, let's go to Ray.
Thanks for having me up, Ryan. I almost wanted to sing Baby Bottle Pop for the Poppin' Projects. But no.
You should have. Why didn't you do that?
Because I raised my hand to talk about something serious. No.
Oh,
well, I
okay.
just did. No, I know we only have a couple minutes. Thanks so much for having me up. I met you yesterday in Dill's creative space, and I just
that was fun. Yeah. Gosh,
super fun.
Your voice is amazing.
Oh, thank you so much. I came up because of the event topic. I also just came from speaking at NFT London, and I do the music programming for NFT Seattle. We had our first year conference this year, and we've been talking a lot about the subject of the different passion verticals in the Web3 space, like music, art, tech, gaming, and how it's kind of hard to cater to everyone's interests when you only have like a couple days. So we've also been talking about should we start doing quarterly passion vertical events like a music conference, an art conference, or does it make more sense to have like a 3-day conference where each day it's kind of like a music festival, like, oh, I want to see Billie Eilish on Saturday, so I'm just going to buy a Saturday ticket, or I want to go on Sunday because it's the gaming.
That'd be amazing.
Day.
So Saturday would be like music NFTs and Sunday would be, fine art NFTs, that kind of verticalization on each day.
Exactly. We kind of did it on accident for NFT Seattle. We had Sunday be the day of music, and people who wanted to come to the music could buy a daily ticket, but it was on accident. wasn't really intentional. So
you can take credit, say you're genius. It's cool.
Thank you. Do you think it's more impactful to do the smaller events or to try to get everybody in town at the same time and do the different days?
I like the different day idea. I mean, a critical mass of people is important for energy reasons, but it needs to be verticalized so that people can find their people. So that sounds fun. I mean, and I'd love to see more of that. I mean, basically what we need to see here is event organizers curating these experiences where you meet people. They really need to take care of you. So however they do that, so that you don't feel dumb and alone at an event is the absolute key. So thanks, Ray. Appreciate you coming by. I did hear Ray's voice in this other space. It was the most beautiful space. Like artists came up and they sang, they rapped. Like it was just wonderful. So that was a real delight. So, and I heard Ray's voice yesterday. So check her out. All right. It is time to announce our winners. I want to make sure we get this done. So Clemente, why don't you announce our winners?
Yeah, I will. And real quick, Ryan, about 6 people missed out on this giveaway. I was going through and picking people, and a ton of people retweeted and were also listening in. I went through 5 or 6 people, but they weren't still listening into the space. So
you snooze, you lose, folks.
Yeah. But the first one is Kuya Mark. I believe I saw them listening. And the second one is at D Pengster. So I'll send invitations to both those people to come up and speak, but congratulations.
Awesome. Congratulations, y'all. Kuya Mark and D Pengster. Good job. And, I don't know. I just want to say, y'all, why do you pick names that are hard to say? Sometimes I don't get it. All right. Oh, I can see D Pengster trying to get up here. We might have to rotate some people off stage, but congrats, y'all. And thanks to Mintify for giving us a couple of outlet spots on their free Mint PFP. Excited about that. As soon as they get on stage, here we go. Let's see. Oh, I'm looking at people. All right, we'll get them up here. So we've got a couple minutes left. I do want to get a couple more hands before we go. I think Nick was next.
Hi, thanks for having me up, Ryan, and hello to everyone.
Thanks for coming by.
It was, I was hoping obviously Devin was going to be on, but one thing that I was looking through with the Opensea stuff is obviously it makes it look like they have to allow the marketplace rather than deny a marketplace. I might be reading, like I might have read it wrong. But then
it's kind of the same thing. It's just how you word it, right?
Yeah, but it's the issue. My issue with that is, imagine Marketplace Blue is built by Joe Bloggs down the road, very small marketplace, does enforce royalties. How do they then get on the list to be approved?
That's a fair question, actually, and let's see if the OpenSea team can tell us that, because it'd be good to know, like, how do you apply, how do you get listed? I assume they're going to have an application process that they just go through and vet, but that's a good point.
The next part onto that is, if you're not using their direct code, which is like their contract, which they're saying, okay, these marketplaces are approved. Also, what if I'm using my own code and I don't know that they've then blocked out Marketplace Blue because they decided not to do royalties. Right. So it's also that catch-22 of how do you accept, but also how do you know that you're kept up to date? Because if you're not kept up to date, does that mean that you're, even though you followed it from the 8th, that you're not now okay included to be, it's that would be my major concern, or is it just that you've got to do a contract of, yes, we're going to do OpenSeas and then also add on to it, and it just becomes a bit gnarly,
problematic. Really. So thanks for pointing it out, Nick. There are like all these details that do matter, right? Yeah. I believe that the team is going to throw enough money and people at this to make sure that process is smooth. But let's be open-minded and honest, and let's see how it rolls out on the 8th.
Oh, 100%. I mean, I'm a dev, so I'm a coder, and that's literally the thing that jumps out and that I need to fix.
Yeah, I know. All right, well, Nick, thanks for stopping by.
Thank you.
Going to jump on. We got a couple things to announce quickly. The poll results. The question was, will the majority of new projects use OpenSea's new operator filter registry code? Poll closed out with 698 votes. 73% said yes. 23% said no, and only 3% said other, and replied with their answer. So pretty, I think, shocking results. Like, pretty interesting that everyone's bullish on using that new format. Clemente, trying to say something exciting? No, okay, came off me by mistake. All right, let's just quickly cheer on Kuya Mark and D Penster, who both have doodles, and I'm a little worried that there's something going on. Why are doodles winning? But whatever. So Kuya Mark, congrats. What are you going to do with your new Mintify PFP?
No, GM.
You're gonna sail to South America. Do something exciting.
No. Just happy with it. Yeah, GM Ryan, Mac, Clemente. Yeah, no,
good to
just
see
super
you.
Happy. Yeah, I've been wanting to get into Mintify, so I mean, this is a great avenue. So thank you so much.
I love it. Well, welcome, congrats, good job, D Pengster. Congrats to you as well with your fancy doodle PFP.
Thank you, Ryan. Yeah, just perfect timing. I just dropped off the kids, so
yay!
In the car, so
oh my god,
appreciate your spaces. Real quick, just love it. I mean, there's so much toxicity with all the stuff that's going on, and so it really is a breath of fresh air.
Thank you, means the world.
Really appreciate it. Thanks for the giveaway. Excited, going to Disneyland.
It's going to Disneyland. All right. Well, drive safe. Congrats dropping off those kids. Y'all, I'm a dad. I'm super family, like pro family, like pro. Just be who you are. Like, bring your kids to the spaces. Bring your brothers. Bring your moms. Bring your dogs. Like, let's just be who we are, because that's literally who we are. So,
I don't know if you saw my text. Richard was dropping his kids off, so he couldn't pop in. But yeah, family first.
All right, there you go. We'll get Richard next time. All right, so what a show. Oh my God. I think the biggest show we've ever had. Appreciate everybody stopping by. I just love this space. I love this community. I love the friendliness, the kindness, but also like the good direct questions, those are important too. And so thank you. Shira has been here forever with her hand up. I just want to say hi real quick. You just like tired? Is your arm tired now?
Yeah, I feel really, this is the most workout I'll have today. My hands up.
Thanks for stopping by.
No, I appreciate it. I'm blown away by the space. I don't want to take too much time. I thought it was really cool that you had the head of OpenSea here, just trying to figure out like how do how do we communicate this all better so we don't get all this drama, or is the drama just inevitable?
Yeah, drama's tiring. I mean, I think the fact that they proactively said, "Hey, Devin wants to hop on the show," is a good sign, right? We're getting more communication. I'm thankful. I literally didn't ask for that. They said, "Hey, he wants to do it," so thought that was cool.
And I was going to also just say South by Southwest does like the splitting up of the conference too, if that's a good model, but
yeah,
it's so big.
It's so big. All right. All right, y'all. I do have good and bad news here. So the fun news is that my wife is turning 50 and I'm taking some time off. Like, we're going to go celebrate. Really going to make her feel special and spend some really good quality time with her. I am literally going to be AFK. Like, I'm not going to have Twitter. I'm not going to have email. I'm really going to focus on her. So it's good for me. Maybe it's bad for the Daily Dose community because it means I won't be back till November 17th. But there is silver lining on this cloud, and that is Mech and Clemente are going to host a couple unofficial Daily Dose spaces. So please hang out with them. They're going to do it periodically, not every day, but they're going to be hanging out, having fun. There isn't going to be official POAP drops. So just want to be clear, don't want you to be disappointed, but they're going to be there. I think a lot of the hardcore community is going to be there. So please stop by and hang out. And then I will be back on the 17th with, bells on my shoes and a smile on my face as always. And we'll just keep building this awesome community. That is the show. And I'm a little disappointed with myself because I let us go 3 minutes over, and I like to be punctual because you all have important stuff to do. So
I want to jump and say one thing. Thanks for giving us the reins and trusting us. We'll be here tomorrow, and then we'll let you know throughout the rest of the time that Ryan's out when we'll be here.
Woo, woo. Of course. I mean, Mech has just put in so much time and effort to help me build this community, and I appreciate her. Great co-host. Clemente has just come in like a whirlwind and is doing a huge amount of work and helping tremendously, and I trust them. So I know they'll take good care of you all. I want to thank my sponsors. Mintify, really appreciate you sponsoring the show and helping us make this thing real. You can try Mintify for free, so check it out, try it. It's a great tool. Appreciate Lucky Trader dropping constantly good news. Keep those notifications on. And thanks to my amazing speakers for helping out. Appreciate y'all, and thanks for Opensea for coming by and chatting. I'll miss you all while I'm gone. I honestly will. It's gonna have total withdrawal for a while. But keep Web3 kind. Keep it moving forward. Without me for a little while, and I'll be back. So let's close with a little bit of music. The voice of DeFi, take us out. Thanks, everybody.
Happy birthday, Joe.
Thanks, everybody. Take it away. All right, everybody. Thanks for a lovely, lovely day. Thanks to the Voice of DeFi for the fun music. I'll miss you all. Take care, and we'll see you when I get back. Take care. Bye-bye.